Okay guys, ito, on the way na tayo. Bisitahin na natin si tatay. Wala naman daw dalang pizza yung iba. Okay, anyway, joking aside. Punta muna tayo sa detention center ni tatay. Actually, this area is medyo marami tayong memories dito kasi last year may event kami dito ukol sa West Philippine Sea ng mga experts sa South China Sea, West Philippine Sea International Law. Tapos kung ano-anong drama nangyari, Diyos ko, may threat daw, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos biglang na-cancel, tapos lumipat dun sa kabilang hotel, tapos nag-reschedule, ang gulo-gulo. So, last year when I came here, sobrang gulong usapan. So, quite interesting to be back in here right now. So, over there, actually, at the back there, andun yung Peace Palace. At doon nang ganap yung ating arbitration case the other year, kung saan nanalo tayo laban sa China. So actually I was so excited to have the conversation here sa isang building dito, and then sa likod namin yung Peace Palace. So well, that's Vietnam, ganun. You know, actually I feel weird. Imagine mo, sa Europe pa kami magtagpo ni Digong. The last time na the last time I saw him in person, I think was in Malacanang or something. And nakita ko yung mga ka-DDS natin na keep on posting my pictures with Digong and all of that. Parang hello. As if naman, I also have a picture with Lenny, I also have a picture with Bibi, I also have, like, trabaho ko po yan. At natatawa tayo dun sa mga kaibigan natin na iba na sinasabi, si Darian pumunta dyan, nakiki-junket. Paano ako mag-junket? I'm a private citizen, Eugene. He says, ito. Yeah, this building. And yung iba naman, hey, Darian is there. Magka-cloud chase siya. Mga ganun. Parang, dude, guys, trabaho ko po to. Alright? I write for publications all around the world. US, Australia, Europe, Japan, UK, what have you guys. Lahat yan. We work for them. So, talagang kasama yan sa trabaho, guys. And of course, kasama rin, you have to put aside some resources. Sariling sikap ang ginagastos natin for some of our trips. But some of our trips, of course, are because may events, may speaking engagements, mga ganun. So we go there. As we speak, a couple of interesting things are happening, guys. Before I go to the Duterte legacy thing and break it down really from my perspective. Because grabe, medyo it's just sobering realizing na dito na si Digong. And sabi na nga natin, pinag-usapan na mukhang game over na. Ito na talaga yung magiging retirement years niya. Not the worst place in the world, but not as an international criminal, of course. Now, going back to this, kanina nakita ko si kaibigan natin si Chela nag-file ng libel kay dun sa isang complexity theory charot na kunyaring scholar na walang publication na legit. Well, I'm glad that some of our friends are leveraging the law to push for this. Ako personally, isang dekada na tayo binababoy, binabastos at saka binabesmirch ng mga walang yung mga propagandists na yan. Some would even say bayaran, some would even say Team China, I don't know. Pero grabe. Ako, I took all the punches, guys. I kept it together. Kahit binabastos tayo, kina-question yung integrity natin, which is something completely unacceptable sa atin. I work like heck, guys. I work more than most people on earth. Anyone who's familiar, you can just Google how much I've produced. I mean, just look at our YouTube videos. Naka 3,000 videos na tayo, guys. We work hard. So one thing I learned from my family, my relatives, my loved ones, my forefathers is integrity is everything. Because everything else comes and goes. Beauty, power, wealth, wala yan. Pera, it goes through its motions. Pero yung integridad, that's what you're gonna carry to your next life, to the next world. And yun yung parating point of pride natin. Kaya kahit nasasaktan tayo throughout the years and all of that, because of our principled commitment to freedom of expression and all, and my principled opposition to weaponization of libel cases and all, matagal ko nireconsider, going with any legal option against dito sa mga walang hiyang mga fake news peddlers and all of that. At the same time, let's be honest, hindi tayo snowflake, right? Yung iba, 1 month, 2 month lang in this business and ano na, nag-meltdown na. We have been in this business for a decade. And speaking of the past month, my goodness, nadamay pa si Hayden ko. I think a lot of people didn't know how to pronounce Haydarian, Hayden. Tuloy, ang nangyari pala in the past month, Hayden ko, si Jenner, yung isang Kardashian pa yan, tsaka yours truly na nag top 3 overall TV personalities tayo sa buong Pilipinas. That was crazy. Sa Google Trends and all of the other analytics. That was insane. Obviously, there was a big jump because of all the brouhaha and persona non grata, but you could see that a lot of the jump also was sustained over time. Kasi yung initial jump, like, no one comes even close, right? Parang 10 times more other celebrities. But we were able to sustain it throughout the weeks because of itong continuous analysis natin ng itong napakamahalagang developments, including of course what the ICC means for the international system. Kaya nandito tayo, hindi lang for The Hague. I'm also hoping to have conversation with folks at the European Union, among others. So marami tayong mga angulo na tinitingnan. So I'm so glad na we sustained it. And most important, I'm so glad that we were able to hold it together. We have been bruised and beaten down, but not really. If anything, in-embrace natin yan. Kaya alam ko nasa yung mga trolls and all. Dahil what they want to do is they want to silence you, they want to intimidate you. What they don't know is you're dealing with samurai, guys. You know, you challenge a samurai, go for gold kami, di ba? We'll even appreciate it. Let's go, di ba? So thanks of course sa inyong supporters, first of all, because you're the reason why tuloy-tuloy tayo ng production. I mean, we're not doing all of these vlogs from all around the world. Goodness, from Greenland to Hague to Tokyo to Washington DC, South Carolina, all around the world, guys. Nag-vlog tayo for you guys. It's because of you core supporters that we have. Kumbaga, bonus na lang yung mga trolls who gave us that extra edge, extra boost. So I think people don't understand. You know, what is very important is if you have an internal sense of integrity, if you truly believe in what you're doing in the cause, based on the proper understanding, kasi marami rin naniniwala sa wrong cause. At mukhang medyo down the rabbit hole na talaga. You know, you can withstand a lot. Now, having said that, a minute ago, one reason we went to Rome and Vatican was really for prayers and healing and all, as much as trying to understand what's happening in Vatican, trying to understand yung role ng ating Catholic Church in helping mga victims ng ICC, and of course, understanding and also praying for Pope Francis' situation and recovery, which, God willing, it happened exactly on the eve of our Mass nung Sunday. So I feel very blessed. I feel very special and healed in many ways about that. Pero yun nga you know, they say you can't put a good man down. I won't pretend that I'm like a perfect good man. Of course, no one is. But the point is, guys, you're fighting for the right thing. Yeah, you can hold it together and in fact even thrive. Like that beautiful seagull. Now, speaking of the not so good man and criminals, international criminals, well, ano man dali natin, pizza? Grabe, parang ghost town talaga dito. Ang konti ng tao, no? Mas marami yatang bike kaysa tao. So guys, let's talk about this. So Digong was not at the ICC. The trial will be in September. So kahapon we're at the ICC. He's actually at the detention center dito sa Hague. I confirmed with my sources na totoo pala na yung sinasabi ni Sarah na talagang Digong is chilling and charming and all of that. Digong being Digong. Siguro natanggap na ni Digong yan na talagang kapalaran niya So I don't know yung mga... Siguro mas malaki yung chance na bring Harry home kaysa bring tatay home. So ano ba nangyari dyan? So anyways guys, I want to talk about the Duterte legacy before we head to the detention center, because the question is, how did we end up here? Diba? Pala. pag driver ka talaga sa Pilipinas, wala ka sa own driver, alam mo naman mga Ilocano. No, actually, aside from Ilocano, ayoko rin yung mga kumakawa ng driver, hindi pa sa baba ng bayad nila. Parang exploited workers yung mga, ayoko nang ganun. Siguro pag talaga mayaman tayo, kuha tayong drivers mga. Pero anyway, pag driver ka talaga sa Manila, you figure out you figure out geolocation talaga. Yeah, your brain gets wired in a certain sense. So kahit hindi ko tinignan yung direction, but I have a sense it's in that direction or this direction. Anyway, wow, look at this flower. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Actually lang lamig pa rin, kahit medyo sunny. But it's gorgeous, beautiful. Spring is here. Ganda. Okay, balikan natin to How did we arrive at this point? Grabe, no? How did we arrive at this point? It's really crazy when you think about it. Na yung ating dating presidente ay nasa isang detention facility. Like just another international criminal. It's crazy when you think about it. It's really crazy. I mean, you could see that even yung mga katulad ni Senator Trillanes, who have been really on this year after year after year, who have been fighting Duterte, who have been very optimistic na Duterte could be pinned down. Even sila talagang grabe daw. It really took for the stars to align for that to happen. Like many elements had to come together. As I said, I got some updates also on the logistics aspect of this. Siguro minsan, down the road kung siguro magsulat tayo ng, I don't know. Okay, I don't want to use the word authoritative. Pero like, let's just say, maayos na talagang, ano ba nangyari? What was the drama? At least I'm gathering more and more logistics related facts. Kasi kailangan mo yun guys Parang may pagka-investigative journalism yan. Kasi I mean, there's so much out there. But what happened, those hours, the drama, the feelings, even yung mga details na hospital si Digong, chinek siya, clearance, all of that. May time na hindi alam ng kasama niya, saan si ganito. Yung iba, walang passport, ganyan. So, there were many technical, logistical aspects, guys. To be honest, I don't think have been fully covered dito sa mga coverage na basically nakita ko so far. They're good, but still not the full picture. You really have to talk to so many people, especially people who are in the, you know what I'm saying, right? Kumbaga in the ring, diba? Proverbial ring. Now, it's just crazy when you think about it, na dumating sa ganitong panahon, ganitong kalagayan ng ating bansa kung saan our ex-leader is in a detention facility like an international criminal. I mean, it's crazy. And if totoo, or tama yung tugma ng mga ibang top experts and all, na mga airtight na tong case na to, game over na, basically, he'll be spending the rest of his life here. So that's crazy when you think about it. As I said, I mean, it's not the worst place in the world to retire. I mean, look at the beautiful. Oh my God, look at this. So beautiful. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, it's not the worst place to retire in, but my goodness, the ignominy, and also the vindication of the critics. Alam mo guys, grabe. Whoa. Isang dekada na sa natin sinasabi na there was something fundamentally wrong with Duterte and his war on drugs and his entire way of ruling the country. Tapos, ginaslight tayo, binastos tayo. Hanggang ngayon, gaslight tayo. Ngayon, wala na silang masabi. Ang gaslight na nila, cloud chaser yan. Which is very dilawan way of attacking. Yung mga line of attack nila. Like, hindi ko kasalanan kung hindi kayo relevant. At hindi ko kasalanan na you're not in the ring. So instead of being pathetic and all, just do something with your life. Be a little bit more productive. Anyway, I'm going back to this, guys. Yeah, it's crazy to think na, oh wow, we're basically out of town na. Okay. Papunta nga talaga sa exciting part. Wait lang guys, double check ko. Eto na. Okay, feel mo na ito na talaga. Wow. Nagdala ako ng apple. Just in case wala naman ang pagkain dito. Tsaka pag may pag may natin ng ganyan, Sige lang. Yeah. Wow. Ngayon, medyo nagsisingkin na sa akin habang nasa gubat. Parang gubat na bigla. Medyo nagsisingkin sa akin, oh my God, talagang detention facility nga. Yeah, crazy man. Crazy. You know what's interesting? May mga natamaan na naman, na-trigger na naman yung mga walang ya. Na, you know, we invoke the scripture. Excuse me. First of all, let me make it clear. The hypocrites are those people na in the name of faith, right? And in a misinterpreted, twisted interpretation of the holy text, try to justify Digong's war on drugs. I think no one has done a better job than exposing that hypocrisy than si Dr. Jael Cornelio of Ateneo. Ang dami niya mga sinulat ukol dun sa... So it's not just Kiboloy eh. It's not just yung mga those type of people. Yung mga self-proclaimed pastors and all. Ang dami dyan na ginamit nila, I don't know, Leviticus, Old Testament, whatever na lang, randomly, to justify itong grabing mga krimen na nangyaring panahon ng Digong. So it's quite rich for these people to accuse us of hypocrisy when in fact we have been fighting for the dignity of human life, for the sanctity of human life, right? Yun yung sinasabi natin eh, di ba? From Judaism to Christianity, Islam, it's very clear, sabi ng Diyos, di ba? Na a single human life is like the entirety of the universe. So if you save one, you save the whole universe. You have exact texts in Torah, you also have exact texts in Quran, and also in Christianity, there's this fundamental idea that every human life matters. So if you want to talk about hypocrisy, the true hypocrites, and shame on you, and may you burn in hell if you have really been accessory to justifying mass murders. The true hypocrisy is those people who try to justify the brutality of war on drugs, try to justify Digong's authoritarian leadership by so hypocritically citing the scripture in ways that actually completely contradicts the core message of Christianity, core message of God, and what Jesus Christ sacrificed himself for. So I don't claim to be a theologian. I don't claim to be an expert. But as a human being, as someone who bothers to read the scripture, sa bilang isang tao na nagkaroon ng pananampalataya because of all the challenges we faced from very early on, you know, what I can say is I can see hypocrisy. I can see false prophets, right? So alam ko natamaan niyo iba yung sinabi natin, you know, when justice is done, right, it brings joy to the righteous and terror to the evildoers, right? It's a proverb. So, excuse me, the true hypocrites are those people who try to justify all these years, these mass atrocities. So shame on you. Now going back to these guys, having said that, we know na marami talaga mga supporters ni Digong who are actually people who seem to have just been misled, right? Now, it's not a question of intellect. It's not a question of... kasi ang dami rin matatalino dyan ng mga professors and all na nag-team SMNI. Basically, na SMNI university level, diba? Kasama pa dyan yung isang expert natin na wala namang publication. Itong yabang-yabang pa. Anyway, going back to this. Hindi, ako sa akin kasi, yung magka-credentialism ka, make sure you can back it up. Alright? Because we walk the talk. We walk the talk, my friends. Alright. Going back to this. You know, talaga may lost flock talaga tayo eh. And at the same time, it's also the physics of the information ecosystem sa panahon natin, unfortunately. Kaya nandito tayo sa kalagayan natin ngayon, guys. Oops. Takang daming bicycle dito. Okay lang. Ako, tanggap ko talaga na some of our kababayan, some of our kaibigan, they're good people. They're fundamentally good people. They are smart people. So hindi ito question ng talino. Ganun. Talagang they went down the rabbit hole. And they went down the rabbit hole because of a combination of circumstances. Let's be clear, minority lang to. Sobrang minority to. And no matter how many hundreds or thousands show up here, that's just a tiny slice, whatever. Like 2,000. You won't even get the barangay officially with that many people. Anyway, my point is, Marami sa ating kababayan talaga, wala na tayo sa syudad. Wala na tayo sa syudad. Baka mamaya nasa Tiwanan na tayo. Okay. Anyways, going back to this. Sabi ko, kaya ako talagang tanggapin na lang talaga natin na there's gonna be always a certain section of the society for a combination of reason. In fact, there are even neuroscientific studies that looks at how certain personality types, certain physiological attributes make you more amenable. I won't use the word vulnerable because that might sound a little bit too paternalistic, if not patronizing. Talagang there's always gonna be that section of the society. And then of course, naintindihan ko rin sa mga kapatid natin, kababayan natin abroad. Kasi, syempre, wala sila sa bansa. Wala silang ways of confirming what is wrong, what is right. And they really rely on certain sources. And the next thing you know, basically echo chamber na lang siya. Right? But, aside from going down the disinformation rabbit hole, tingnan mo kung ang sources mo ay Maharlika, sources mo ay mga si Beijing boy, Beijing girl, mga ganyan. Talagang walang mangyari sa'yo in terms of getting quality information. But, what I can say guys is this, na you have to also understand na genuine talaga yung source of frustration ng mga kababayan natin dahil ilang dekada na po tayo naging demokrasya tapos mahirap pa rin yung bansa natin or well, I mean umakyat na yung bansa natin pero hindi naman well distributed. Imagine mo ilang sa ating kababayan ay napipilitan na pumunta kung saan bansa and then imagine everything you have to deal with abroad. I mean natin all sorts of oppressive conditions, microaggressions, racism even, di ba? All of those things. So minsan naintindihan ko rin yung mga ibang kapatid natin, kababayan natin na talagang desperado na sila for really radical change. Radical change. Kaya nag-appeal talaga yung mga katulad ni Digong. Kasi ang galing ni Digong mag-posture eh. Ang galing niya magpanggap. He's really a good imposter. But at the same time, there's also a grain of truth to the fact that he made Davao one of the most prosperous cities in the country. Although some would say, Davao would have become a prosperous city regardless of Digong and all. But Digong was there, right? Again, this doesn't excuse the whole, the original DDS and all of that, all of the horrible things that happened there. But the fact of the matter, guys, is you have to understand, marami sa ating kababayan, bilib na bilib kay Digong, hindi dahil hindi nila alam ang sinasabi nila per se or hindi dahil masama yung intention. Hindi, dahil sobrang desperate na sila for change. So, it's really grievance politics. It's really grievance politics. And plus yung information rabbit hole, mahirap talaga. So, parang tanggapin mo talaga there are gonna be people like that. So, pag ganun, you just reach out to them on a different level. Okay, anong gagawin natin in the future? 2028, 2031, you know what I'm saying? Ganun na lang. Try to find a common ground at a different level. Obviously, this doesn't include yung mga talagang invested dun sa Duterte regime at kumita and all of that. Hindi ko sinasabi na si Harry Roque. But, ibang usapan na yung mga ganyan tao. But I'm talking about yung mga genuine, sincere na kababayan natin. Now, unfortunately, talagang down the rabbit hole man talaga in terms of the DDS information, disinformation ecosystem. But they're there because they had really good intentions and genuine frustrations. So, kaya ako guys, sinasabi ko parate, hindi helpful yung i-embarrass mo sila or try to question their grammar, mga ganun. I mean, of course, ako nangasar din ako. Alam mo naman, di naman ako nagmamalinis. Alam ko rin, minsan, rin yan, medyo bully din ako. You wanna bully me, I'll bully you back. You throw on me, I'll bazooka you back. Kaya may side naman talaga tayong ganyan. Aminado ako. But, ako, the compassion factor never went away. Because naintindihan ko saan galing yung attraction to Duterte kind of leaders. It really comes from a genuine position of frustration. At yung frustration na yan, it's real. It's really real. It's really real. Ako, alam ko yung followers natin nagiging diverse na. Ito na lang sasabihin ko. Whether ikaw yung supporter ni Lenny or BBM, whatever. I mean, you guys, do you think any of them, could be the kind of transformational leader or I don't know. It's hard to say. In the case of BBM, already we saw na hindi naman nangyaring golden era. O mga solid north natin dyan. And then doon naman sa opposition, tingnan mo naman, biglang nawala sa eksena, tapos biglang bumabotse. Okay, magagalit na kayo. No, but you get what I'm saying, guys. Amin natin. Ako, believe ako kay Riza Ontiveros. Believe ako kay Ma'am Laila. Believe ako kay Senator Trillanes. Matapang sila eh. Matapang eh. Hindi sila umatras eh. Palaban sila. Yun, mga ganyan leader, believe ako. But I'm not sure they're being considered to be our next president anytime soon. I mean, with Riza nga, every time I emphasize Riza could be ganun. Tingnan mo naman. Anyways, what I'm saying here is, guys, tagapin natin, talagang meron tayong failure of leadership from all sides. I mean, Duterte is a totally different level. Ito iba na detention na dito, ICC criminal level na. But even other leaders natin, let's just be honest, even the supposed best leaders we had, wala, medyo mediocre talaga. Medyo mediocre because the really good ones don't bother to enter politics. Let's be honest. The really good ones don't really bother to enter politics, or the really good ones like Jesse Robredo. Unfortunately, we lost him too early. Probably if someone like Jesse Robredo would have run for president, you could easily vouch 100% for that person. Although no one is perfect, right? But still. And then bata pa si Vico. But hindi naman pwede purong Vico lang. But I'll tell you guys, ang dami magaling sana pwedeng leader, but they don't enter our politics because it's so corrupt, it's so crazy. And then babastusin ka, awayin ka, kung ano nang gagawin sa'yo. So, all I'm saying, guys, is we have to also be realistic. Now, unfortunately, so far yung mga nagiging potential leaders natin, yung mga dinidefend nyo, whether solid north, whether pink, whatever, hindi pa rin dun eh. Hindi pa rin eh. No, sorry to say it, pero hindi pa rin eh. Hindi ata sila sanay nag-vlog ang mga tao dito. Sama natin ng pulis. Okay. No, but I'm just saying, guys, I think we have to have a real talk on this issue. The type of leaders who rise to candidacy for the highest levels, they're not really our best and brightest. I'll be honest about it. And yung mga talagang mga galing, either hindi pinapansin, or sila mismo wala na silang pake. Nag-move on na sila. Or parang si Raulo ba ako, napapasok sa politika, tapos babastusin lang ako, tapos iaras lang ako, i-detret ako, ganun. Gets mo? So actually, sadly, we have been stuck with mediocrity for quite some time. To be honest, I still stand by my position that the best president we have had so far is Ramos. Right? In that 6 years, maraming kapalpakan nangyari. In that 6 years, maraming mga nangyaring questionable, just to put it mildly, yung privatization ng mga. But overall, Ramos restored civil-military relations. Ramos restored political stability, at least overall. Tapos na yung mga kudeta pa ni Corazon Aquino, and later on back again during Arroyo. Wala siyang wetting level corruption, whatever, which eventually caused ERAP, right? So if you look at Ramos, he was also highly respected all around the world, especially in ASEAN. He was seen as a kind of a regional leader, one of the co-founders of Boao Forum. Oh, hi pala sa Boao Forum. I was supposed to be in Beijing right now giving a speech as a VIP, pero walang iya. Anyway, ayos sa atin ng mga iba dyan eh. Pero buti nga, baka hindi talaga tayo safe sa China. So I think it's a good thing na hindi na tayo tumuloy. It's in fact, there are more important things to do, which is what we're doing right now. But going back to this, guys, let's be honest, guys. Ramos was the best we got, and Ramos was not necessarily, it was far from perfect. If anything, barely above a certain threshold. And I'm saying this with all due respect and all, but at the same time, complete honesty about its shortcomings. But the reason why I have a lot of respect also for Ramos' administration is because hindi siya partisan. Hindi siya kakampi style. Marami sa mga naging cabinet members na, yung mga tao na actually nag-criticize sa kanya. Mga tao na hindi sumuporta sa kanya. Si Shalito Habito, yung ating kasama sa Philippine Daily Inquirer, we're on the same page for a column every Tuesday. He didn't support Ramos. He was in fact critical of Ramos, and yet Ramos appointed him as his NEDA chief. Now, of course, if you listen to our show, you had people like Professor Walden Belly talking about the disastrous legacy of NEDA back then. That's a separate discussion. But what I'm saying is that there was a certain level of openness and intellectual curiosity and kind of a confidence and really intelligence I saw with Ramos that, to be honest, is yet to be matched. But that also tells you how low our bar is overall. So I'll just be very honest about it. Now, of course, I know you have another president in mind, but listen to yung pinosco from Ronald Llamas himself, Secretary Ronald Llamas. Ronald Llamas, I think, is the most realistic and sensible insider during the Aquino administration. And you're more than welcome to check ano yung mga sinasabi niya about the deficiencies of the Aquino administration, which eventually paved the way for the rise of the worst president ever. Seriously, the worst president ever. By 2016. So, I'm not even gonna go into what happened, what went wrong. I mean, I'll tell you what. Freeze lang natin yung debate over the legacy from 2011 to 2015. Just look at the 2016 elections. Digong should have been even disqualified. Bakit pinatakbo si Digong? Digong should not have been even allowed to run for office. Napaka-questionable yung legal grounds niya for running for office. Bakit hindi siya na-disqualify? That's incompetence. Bakit hindi nag-unify ang Aquino base around a single candidate and actually nag-split siya among 3 candidates? Remember, Binay was VP and there were certain people within the Aquino camp who supported him. Remember the whole Noibi thing? Binay, right? There's that Noibi faction. There was the Marojas faction, obviously, and Marojas was supposed to be really Dante's successor. And I don't want to even go into everything that went wrong with his messaging and communications. But in fairness to Marojas, his problem was, he stood by Pinoy through and through. But look at it, guys. In the end, saan ba talagang, di ba? Grace Po, or Marojas? So sobrang nag-split talaga. Kaya in the end, Duterte came really from behind and stole the show. So that for me is incompetence too. Because it's not only winning, it's also making sure that the right person succeeds. Marojas is not perfect. Ang daming kapalpakan sa kanyang campaign. But my lord, I mean, his admin would have not done anything like the horrors of the Duterte administration. Talagang ke horror. And please lang, don't give me this thing about, but the train runs on, at the right time kind of argument. Because those are the kind of arguments that were used back in the day to justify fascism and the worst version here in Europe. Like, okay lang na diktador si ganun, basta maganda yung mga highway namin. Or okay lang na, parang, hello. It doesn't work that way, my friend. Sobrang circumspect niya pagdating sa getting projects right and also making sure na hindi magkakaroon ng corruption. Kaya nga sabi ko, dito mahalaga talaga. If Maros were, or someone like Pinoy were his successor, you would have 12 years kung saan first 6 years was cleaning up the system and the next 6 years was spending all the good money on the good projects. And then we would have been in totally different position by 2022. This whole BBM, unity, whatever would not have been in the picture. Pero hindi, incompetent sila. They allowed Duterte to run, they underestimated him, and ang gulo-gulo, Grace pa ba, Maros pa. So here you can see na those kind of tactical mistakes cost them strategically, big time over time. So, first of all, Duterte's very running was questionable. And second, it was very important na after Pinoy, someone comes who could actually use the good money Pinoy saved for the country because of fiscal prudence, macro-prudential policies, all of the reforms, Dan Matuid reforms. Now, hindi perfect, obviously. We can talk about this personal acceleration program, etc. But the fact of the matter, guys, is, oh my God, is that a fortress I'm seeing over there? Okay, but the fact of the matter, guys, is that a lot of supposedly good thing with Digong he just inherited a lot of money from the previous administration, which Moros was supposed to spend, or Gracepo was supposed to spend on the good projects, right? Had there been a coalition building and a proper coalescing around one preferred candidate to succeed, Pinoy. So, even yung mga supposed strengths ni Duterte ay highly questionable. And dun sa mga 100 plus flagship projects ni Digong, I mean, barely a dozen were finished. I mean, it's crazy. And I don't want to even go into the questions of quality, sustainability, and efficiency rates, diba? So if only people knew about these facts, these longitudinal kind of analysis, we would have been a very different world. But unfortunately, people don't think that way. They don't look at the long term. They don't look at, factuals, counterfactuals. Wala. Kung sinong feel nila itong elections, go for it. And then like, next thing you know, kulto na. Diba? So doon talaga makikita mo yung limitations ng ating political education and critical thinking, unfortunately. On all sides, by the way. On all sides. I've heard so much nonsense from all sides. Yung isa, golden age. Yung isa, tingin nila sila lang tama, sila lang righteous. Yung isa, my goodness, hanggang ngayon, dinidefend pa rin ng isang international war criminal. Ayan na, mga kadidiyas natin dyan. Ayan na, I think, oh my God, that's it. Booyaka siya. That's it, guys. That's the detention center. Oh my goodness. That's it. Oh my goodness, that's it, guys. Ito na yung, dito na si tatay. Dito na nakakulong si tatay. Para siyang warehouse, no? Yung itsura niya. Oh my goodness, look at this. Wow, this is crazy, guys. Ayan, so I think that's Maris O'Malley. Mga kaibigan natin sa video. OMG. This is it, guys. Penitentiary Inrichting Haglanden. Okay. So, it's the penitentiary center of penitentiary of Hague, right? Exactly, of the Hague. Yeah, okay. Schare Inrichting Haglanden. Here we go. Booyaka siya. Talk to you guys soon. Tuloy natin yung discussion na to. Dito na si tatay. Labas na natin yung natin. Pizza natin.